Hi, this is Mike Osterman from the Benefits Office, and I'm just bringing you a quick video about how to find which tier your prescription drug falls into, as well as some cool tools about how to find the lowest cost drugs available to you. So we're looking at the 2019 custom drug list from Blue Cross Blue Shield of Michigan. You can either follow the link in an email that I'm sending out to you, or if you just Google search Blue Cross Blue Shield Michigan 2019 custom drug list, it'll pop up right there too. But this is the image that you want to see. And we're going to skip ahead past the table of contents here to look at page 8 of this document. And this gives you some tier descriptions. We have the 5-tier plan. So tier 1 is generics, tier 2 is preferred brand name drugs, tier 3 is non-preferred brand name drugs, tier 4 preferred specialty, and tier 5 is non-preferred specialty. So keep that in mind. The lower number is the better number. You always want to try to get to tier 1 if possible. But other than that, you'll want to look for an even number because those are the preferred ones. We'll skip ahead a little bit further to page 14 of this guide, page 14. And this is an example about how to read the custom drug list. So we have the Blue Cross PPO list is what we're going off of, and we have the 5-tier. So that's the column that you want to be looking for. It'll give you the names of the drugs, if there's a generic name for it, as well as which tier it falls into, and any limitations such as a quantity limit or a prior authorization that's required for that. So you can go ahead and look. These are lipid lowering agents. Antara and these doses, it's a tier 3, so that's a non-preferred brand name drug. But Lipitor here, it is a brand name drug, but it has a generic available. So if you get the generic, then it's only that $10 copay, and sometimes it's even free. And we'll talk about that in a little bit too. So anything with an S here is also a specialty drug, so these are a preferred specialty. Gives you a good example of where your drug falls. So we'll do a quick search here. We'll look at Humira, and these are anti-psoriasis drugs here. So Humira popped up on that list. It is a specialty drug, but this section is really good because it gives you an example that there's tier 1 drugs, tier 2, tier 3, 4, and 5. Keep in mind that not all of these drugs do the same thing. They might fall into the same category, but they might treat things differently. They might not all be appropriate for you. That's a discussion between you, your doctor, and your pharmacist. This is just to give you a little bit of information about maybe what could be better. Maybe you're on a tier 3 drug and you could be on a tier 2 or a generic, and we want to give you some of those examples so that you can have a conversation with your doctor to see if something's more appropriate. So for this example here, Dovanex is a drug and it has a generic, so that falls into a tier 1, but Enstelar here is a tier 3 drug. So what's cool about this document is that for tier 3 drugs, which are your non-preferred brand name drugs, for our plan that would be a $40 copay for that, you can search for this drug at a tier 3, and what it will do is at the bottom show you tier 3 drugs, the names of the drugs, and then also preferred alternatives. So we'll go back here. Enstelar is the drug's name. Well, it says Dovanex or Teclonix ointment are both considered preferred alternatives for that. So we'll go back up and you can see, well, Dovanex is the example that we used first, and it's got a generic. So this drug does about the same thing as what the Enstelar. So you could go from paying $40 a month to only $10 for a 90-day supply of this generic, and it gets rid of any prior authorization or quantity limits that you might have. It's just a good drug to have. So that's just one example of how this list can really help you. Again, you need to talk to your doctor, you need to talk to your pharmacist about which is the most appropriate, but this is just a conversation starter for that. So what about your specialty drugs, your tier 4 and tier 5 drugs? Well, this list doesn't really get into that so much, but I do have another tool for you. And so we're going to look up Otrexup right here. And what we're going to do first is we're going to go to goodrx.com. And this website has a ton of information about all kinds of drugs. So we'll search for Otrexup. Again, this is a Tier 5, a not preferred specialty drug. And it will tell you what the drug is, and you can change the different prescription settings here. So if you have a different dosage, you can look at that. But it will tell you prices near you, so you can actually search for an area around you where you are. And it will tell you what you'll pay approximately at those pharmacies for that drug. This is mostly without insurance, so you won't pay this cost. You would pay, again, what our copay structure looks like, but it gives you an idea for how much it costs the plan too. So $854 at these ones, but it goes all the way up to, if you go to a CVS pharmacy, it would cost the plan about $1370. That's a big difference. So you can always be mindful about that, and we'll give you another good example about that later. But what's cool is if you scroll down, you can see lower cost alternatives. And when you look in there, you might find different drugs. This one's quite a bit cheaper, Rasuvo. Rasuvo just so happens to be on the list here. So again, it's still a Tier 5 drug, but it's less expensive for the plan. That's a good thing. If you're looking at what your cost would be, you would save money for that too. So you can see prices, and it will show prices near you as well. So it went from $800 some down to $600 some. But you could also, on a lot of these, look at manufacturer's coupons, and if you visit that, you'll be able to see how you can get it for a whole lot cheaper. A really good example of that is Humira. So Humira is, again, it has the descriptions about what it is, but you can see the average retail cost is $8,200 for that. Very expensive drug, but it goes all the way up. CVS is almost $11,000 for that. If you look at the manufacturer coupon, so although this is a Tier 4 drug, which is up to $100 per month for that drug, you can go to the manufacturer site and you can get it for as little as $5 a month. That's a huge savings for you. So you might want to check out this information. I can't guarantee that you'll qualify for all of them, but it's definitely worth looking into, and especially if your drug maybe falls into this Tier 5 drug or something, that could be up to $200 per month. Paying as low as $0 a month. I've seen some of those manufacturer coupons as low as $5 or even $0 a month. It's a huge savings to you. So it's really good to look at that stuff. Maybe you'll find a better place to go. A good example of another tool that you have is searching for a drug that's very common, Lipitor. It does have a generic here, so we'll search for that. And something to keep in mind is that the cost varies greatly sometimes between the different pharmacies. Some people think that it's the same no matter where you go, and that's not true. For example, if you go to Meijer, it's totally free. They just write it off. You don't have to pay anything for that. Versus if you go to a CVS pharmacy, estimated retail price is $127, or Walgreens is $250 for that. So when you look at what it costs the plan, you can definitely make a good choice for that, because all of these costs add up toward what we pay in premium sharing. So we definitely want to do good choices in terms of where we go for drugs and the costs. So GoodRx.com is definitely your friend when you want to find tips for drugs, if you want to see side effects or anything like that too. It has all the information about all the drugs that you could ever want to know. So you can do a little bit of research here, maybe find something that is lower cost for you. Definitely get some information to bring to your doctor and your pharmacist and have a good conversation. Again, you should always be going for the drug that works the best. We want you to get good care, but if you can get good care for a lower cost, well, then everybody wins too. If you have any questions, feel free to get a hold of me and I'll be happy to help you. Thanks for watching.